Hey everybody, it's Gomedex and welcome back to some more Magic Arena. And today we're going to be playing another Premier Draft of Tarkir Dragonstorm Alchemy. This is a Tarkir Dragonstorm Premier Draft with one Alchemy card added to each pack. That card is always going to be an uncommon or better, and Alchemy cards tend to be pretty pushed because they're designed for the Alchemy constructed format. So it's kind of the wild, wild west in terms of power level in the draft pods. You take an already bomby set like Tarkir Dragonstorm, and you just add a whole extra card to each pack, which is usually a very powerful one, because even the Alchemy uncommons tend to be pretty pushed, but there's plenty of bomb rares and mythics in that slot as well, so pretty wild, pretty explosive drafts here, very draft pod dependent. You're just going to be bombing each other out, but we've only got a couple days of these drafts, so I'd like to play them while they're around and try out some of the new stuff. That said, I do not think Draconic Fealty is worth taking over the Death Begets Life Bomb Mythic Rare, so we start with the excellent Sultai Board Wipe Mythic, and follow it up with a Great Green Dragon. This ramps you up, as well as is your solid dragon at the top of your curve. 5 mana, not really the top of your curve in this format. It's a pretty slow one. But it's a really good way to help stabilize against more aggressive decks with that life gain every time you play a dragon. It's just a great stat line for the cost, really easy pick. Pick number 3, Roamer's Routine is fine filler fixing. I don't really think I want to take that this highly. I'm not a very big fan of this pack. I mean, my favorite cards are like the Gold Keeper and the Focus the Mind, and the only reason I really like the Gold Keeper here is because we're already very likely to be splashing into Sultai with Death Begets Life. I don't think this is actually insane, but perfectly fine if we end up in these 3 colors, which looks pretty likely. It's going to be hard to push us off of Death Begets Life. Yeah, I'll just take the Gold Keeper. It's another dragon to go with Gloomvine Regent as well. Pick number 4, here's green-blue fixing. That also gives us a little bit of red fixing just in case. Pack Beast is excellent in the go wide Boros aggro decks, where you're playing a whole bunch of creatures to the board really early. You can get this out for cheap and draw a card at the same time, but none of our picks are conducive to that kind of deck. We're much more the 4 or 5 color splash sort of deck, where the Bivouac, the Dragonstorm Globe are just way better picks, and I'm actually going to go for the Dragonstorm Globe. We already have 2 dragons for it, and this is the most flexible kind of fixing, because obviously it gets a mana of any color into your deck. Pick number 5, Jeskai Shrinekeeper, very, very powerful dragon. It is the 2 colors we're not currently playing, so we have to dedicate ourselves to a full 5 color and put in a lot of work towards fixing for it. But it's the strongest card in here by a wide enough margin to speculate on, I think. I mean, the Martyr Devotee, the Pack Beast, and the Shock Brigade are all good Boros options. Boros aggro is definitely open enough to go for that strategy as well. But again, the way that we've started this draft off, Death Begets Life, Regent, and Dragonstorm Globe, all 3 of these are very premium cards for a 5-color sort of deck. So it's not like we're pushed off of it yet. So we'll stick to that plan and take the Jeskai Shrinekeeper. Pick number 6, Glacial Dragon Hunt, another premium one. Great at clearing out the early aggressive cards from the Boros decks if you get paired against them. And it gives you card selection at the same time as well, lets you draw towards the mana you need. Pick number 7, Evolving Wilds. Definitely looks great for this deck. Osseous Exhale is not bad removal at all for slower, more controlling builds. It is possible we play like Jeskai at the core between Dragon Hunt, Shrinekeeper, all of our early cards being like blue, red, white removal spells. Splash into the green later for the Death Begets Life. I could see Exhale over Evolving Wilds because cheap removal is very important for these decks. I'll actually take the Exhale here. See if we're actually somewhere in the Jeskai colors at the core. Boulderborn Dragon is not bad with Dragonstorm Globes, and it will make it so that if we get a Dragonstorm Forecaster, that card's going to be incredible, because that card can tutor for our Globes and our Boulderborn Dragon. So I don't mind that. The other option, though, is Narset's Rebuke, which is very good removal, and it sticks to that Jeskai core. I mean, it's slightly filler removal, but you take all the removal you can get in these decks. Pick 9, not much here. We could play an Unending Whisper. We're blue at the core. Now we've got a Windscarred Crag and Evolving Wilds. Also a Durgar Island Dragon if I just want to play a million dragons here. I mean, Jeskai Dragon's at the core, taking this this dragon or the Windscarred Crag. This is pretty spicy. I think I'm passing up on the common dragon for the fixing. Another Jeskai land, Swiftwater Cliffs. Okay. So more confident in the Jeskai core to our deck right now than the Sultai for sure. But we are likely splashing around into all 5 colors, at least dabbling a little bit to get Death Begets Life in, if nothing else. There's just a bunch of quality cards here. This is a good start. Pick 12. Effortless Master sucks if you're not aggro, and it's not even very good there. So we'll take Bloodfell Caves. A little bit of splashing towards the black for the Death Begets Life. I'm not going to play any of those. Pack 2, pick number 1. Excellent. Boros aggro rare, but that's not the path we've taken here at all. Boros aggro alchemy uncommon. Not the path we've taken at all. We have a fresh start for great cheap removal out of blue, which should be a pretty prevalent color in this deck. Either way we take it, Sultai or Jeskai. So I think fresh start is a really safe removal spell to take, and it's just competing with a tri-land for fixing. I'm going to take the fresh start, excellent removal there. This is a wonderful pack. Flamehold Grappler is great in the late game, doubling up one of your cheap removal spells or something. Inevitable Defeat is a great removal spell, a little hard to cast being in 3 colors, but it can't be countered and it exiles any non-land permanent, so it deals with whatever you need, which is incredible. But then there's also Twin Maw Stormbrood, which is wonderfully flexible. It is a 2-mana removal spell against cheap creatures on the ground, actually most creatures on the ground. 5 damage is a lot. And then it's also a top-end dragon that can gain you a bunch of life to help stabilize. So I think Stormbrood for that flexibility is just really, really good looking here. It's also really, really easy to cast because of the flexibility and mana cost as well. 1 in a red or 5 in a white. Both only require a single mana of a specific color. Pick 3, Sibsig Appraiser's excellent card draw. I think we've taken enough removal to be able to take this over Overwhelming Surge. We have Dragon Hunt, Fresh Start, Osseous Exhale, Narset's Rebuke, and Charring Bite. So let's grab Sibsig Appraiser. Pick number 4. I like the Ireni's rebuff a lot as interaction. You get to bounce one of their cards and slow them down and do it again, flashing it back from the grave later. Evolving Wilds is also solid here, but I'm going to go rebuff. We've got a really strong just Jeskai core to the deck. I don't think I need to take a million pieces of fixing towards playing a full-on 5-color deck. I really think that it's just going to be Jeskai with a random Death Begets Life that we could play off globes now and then, rather than like full unrestricted 5-color nonsense. Take a Swiftwater Cliffs here, although Pack Beast isn't the worst, even when you aren't a particularly creature-heavy deck. It's just much better when you are. We're very low on creatures, though, so I'm going to take Swiftwater Cliffs. Pick number 6. Another Dragon's fine. Storm Sheik Feral. Go with our Exhale, our Dragonstorm Globe. Little filler, but so is pretty much the rest of the pack. Pick 7. There's that Saga Wildling for green at the core. Okay, so what about Temur here? That way I get to play the Bloomvine Regent because our dragon count's getting pretty high. Then I get to play Saga Wildling and Roamer's Routine for fixing. We treat Stormbird as a 2-mana red removal spell rather than a white spell, and then our white spells are exclusively Exhale and Shrinekeeper. So white is just a tiny splash dabble, as is the black. So Temur at the core, tiny splash into Jeskai and Sultai. Yeah. Saga Wildling helps that out a ton. And then there we go, green-blue, solid 2-drop for getting our mana that way. Alternatively, there's been a lot of Boulderborns here. We get a Forecaster. Actually, I think I'm deep enough on blue. Temur Devotee might be more interesting than Kishla Skimmer here. But I do have a good chunk of Harmonize. Yeah, I mean, I think Skimmer is a very good card. Frontier Bivouac is phenomenal. That's a slam dunk here. Alright, we kind of found a way to fit every single card we've drafted into the same deck now. Probably cutting Goldkeeper #1. But yeah, Teamer at the core lets us get to all these colors reasonably. Okay, now I can take a Teamer Devotee. Inoc Wayfarer is also fine, but I don't want to end up milling like Death Begets Life here. I'm not really going to run a lot of Roll Procession type cards to prevent that. Another Roamer's Routine. Play a single Swamp and a single Plains, and our mana's set up. Yeah, this deck is definitely playing to the format strengths. It's what you're supposed to do. Splash around in all the stuff, play all the strongest cards. We open up a great Alchemy rare this time around, so we do get some unique Alchemy hotness here. The Cunning Azure Scale. 6 mana, 5/5 flash flyer. When it enters, secretly choose land or non-land. Get 2 cards of the chosen kind. So 6 mana, 5/5 flash flyer, draw 2 would already be insane, and this is even better than that because you guarantee you're drawing spells. And not only that, it's even better than that because if you have it in your opening hand and you haven't hit your 3rd land drop on turn 3, you can just cycle it for 2 and guarantee to draw a land. Ridiculous. Ridiculously good card. This might even be better than Death Begets Life, honestly. Pack 3, pick 2. Speaking of Death Begets Life, I think we're taking the Jungle Hollow towards it here. Although the Osseous Exhale is a big pickup too. More removal. But the Exhale is removal off of the splash color. White and black being the splashes. I have Dragon Hunt, Fresh Start, Rebuff, Rebuke, and 1 Osseous Exhale. I do still want more removal pretty badly. And despite Overwhelming Surge being an easier color for us, I think Osseous Exhale is enough better than it to still take that. Maybe it's Riverwalk Technique here, though, because that's in like our core color, and it's pretty good removal. Definitely more expensive than Osseous Exhale, but nice and flexible. Pick 3, Botanist is great. Pick 4. To play another Alchemy card here. Illuminating Lash is very similar to Glacial Dragon Hunt. 2 mana, 3 to any target, and then draw a card next time you cast a non-creature spell. Very, very good. Pick 5, Mystic Monastery looks like a massive pickup for this deck. Kish the Trawlers is another great option. This plays really well with Illuminating Lash. Or I don't actually have a ton of cards it plays super well with. Like Illuminating Lash, but then like Dragon Hunt already has Harmonize, or Buff already has Harmonize. It can't pick up Fresh Start. Yeah, this is not the greatest Kish the Trawlers deck. So I think I'm pretty fair to take Mystic Monastery there. The Dragon Mox is fun, but it's like it helps fix your mana once you already have a good dragon on board. It's not very relevant in draft. Another Mystic Monastery looks great here. There's no great removal here. The best removal is Dragon Claw Strike, which requires us to have a decent creature on board to cast it, so I'd rather just take another piece of excellent fixing. Here's another Rebuff. Yep. Pick number 8, Thornwood Falls. Those are really good colors for us, so I take it over Snakeskin Veil. Pick 9. Something filler that probably gets cut. Teamer Devotee or Dragon Claw Strike. Our creature count is like 12 maximum. This is really not a Dragon Claw Strike deck. Take another Teamer Devotee. Tawny back is nice. Card selection. And a solid way to play to the board while setting up in the early game. I'll take Highlands over the 3rd Teamer Devotee. Alright, pretty classic Tarkir Dragonstorm stuff here. Just a little bit of alchemy stuff to shake things up, an Azure Scale and an Illuminating Lash. But let's build this deck here. Shouldn't have to cut too many cards because we spent so many picks on lands. Still have to cut 5, that's kind of surprising. More than I thought I would. Unending Whisper is like really good filler, but it is just the filler. Just cycles to the next card, really. Do still want at least one of these Roamer's routines, I think, but we could cut the second copy. Boulderborn Dragon is the worst dragon in the deck. Outside of maybe Goldkeeper. Goldkeeper's pretty hard for this deck to cast. We can cut down to just like a single black spell if I ditch that. And this is also 3 mana ramp. This deck is rampy. Yeah, let's cut the black spell here, cut the Boulderborn Dragon. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Still 11 creatures without Stormshriek. I think I can go without it. We'll go 1 and 1 on these. Play 1 Whisper, 1 Routine. And for colors here, it's going to be all over the place, but very, very heavy blue. And then I still want a good chunk of green to have access to Wildling and Roamer's Routine to fix to other colors. So blue and green being the most important, I'd like to have at least 8 blue sources, at least like 7 green. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 blue sources, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 green. So I want 8 blue, 6 green. I want to add another green source if possible. Might have to cut like Bloodfell Caves to do it, which is awkward because I don't think I can cut a Plains or a Swamp because they're tutorable off of Roamer's Routine and Sagu Wildling. So I want to be able to tutor for literally any color off of those cards. Well, let's see. How many black cards do I have? Well, how many red sources do I have? I actually have no mountains in the deck either, so I currently can't tutor for red, but I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 red? Oh my god. Okay, so if I get rid of my ability to tutor for red, I still have 8 red sources. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, yeah. So I can cut a Bloodfell Caves. I can't tutor for red, but I get another green source to help tutor for the other colors. Alternatively, we can cut that Bloodfell Caves for a mountain, and then I can tutor for any color off of Routine and Wildling. But I think that's a whole bunch of red, especially with 2 Devotees as well that also hit red. Yeah, this, I think, is the best way to do the mana. Do 8, 7 on blue and green. Still 9 red, bunch of white as well then, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 white plus ways to tutor, and there's only like 2 white spells. And then black, there's only 2 black sources, I guess, but there's 2 ways to tutor it plus a Dragonstorm Globe, and there's only 1 black spell, and it's an 8 mana spell, so that's fine too. Alright, yeah, the mana looks really good here. So, pretty excited about this deck. It's all going to come down to if our opponents have better rares and mythics than us, really. Right? And that's a lot of what the set comes down to, a lot of what the format comes down to. In draft is if you're in the 4 or 5 color mirror match, like whoever casts the biggest bomb wins. And I'm a little concerned while we do have good big bombs, we don't have like a whole ton of them. We have like 2 really good ones, and that's about it. Also, as always, when you're 4 or 5 color, you're also worried about the Boros matchup. If you're playing against something pretty aggressive, then they could just out-curve us, out-race us, beat us down too early for us to stabilize with rebuffs and fresh starts and exhales and stuff as removal. We'll see. We'll see. The deck has a lot of power to it. It's capable of great stuff. It's really going to be matchup and draw dependent, though, so just see how the cards fall today as we hop into the gameplay. Alright, here we are on the draw for game 1. I have the green source to cast the Botanist and the Roamer's Routine if we hit any land. And the Roamer's Routine finds the blue, and we've got pretty much every color. And we did find a land to cast Roamer's Routine now. Botanist probably pulls the counterspell. Let's go. Fine by me. Unless they have double counter, then that's rough. Okay, they don't. I guess I don't have my white source yet. We are missing one color still, but Wildling can solve that. Sagu Pummeler from our opponent. We cannot kill that, but I can play a Tawny back to trade if they don't have removal of their own. I could play the Tawny back and the Wildling if I Wildling into another green source, but I want to have access to another white off of the Wildling, especially because the Rugged Highlands is already the second green. Okay. Well, now Crag is the white. So, I mean, if we draw our one double green card in the whole deck, then I'll be a little sad I didn't Roost-Seek into another green, but I have a Devotee to help hit it too. And we could just naturally draw it like an absolute champion here. I don't have a particularly good way to play around a counterspell right now. Kind of want to just flash this in during their end step. But they held 4 mana up here instead of doing anything else. That really makes me feel like a counterspell. How likely are they to not hold up the counterspell again next turn? Really unlikely. I feel like I flash this in their end step, they counter it, and I cry. So let's just take a turn to set up. I think we're fine. Okay, Arena is not holding for them at all, so I guess they just didn't have anything to cast there, which is very unexpected. Sultai Monument. Teeming Dragonstorm. Okay, they're tapped out of the counter now. Probably just going to do this sorcery speed. Because any instant speed removal is going to kill it either way. All I do by playing it at instant speed is dodge sorcery speed removal for 1 swing. Like I get to hit them for 5 one time. And they don't have it. They just make zombies. Seems good to me. Yeah, we just do the thing you do. Kill them with a bunch of dragons. Here's another one. There's their own dragon. Can fresh start that. Or I can double removal it. Lash plus Dragon Hunt. Okay, if I fresh start it, they're dead now. Because I can Illuminating Lash their face. Alright, yeah, 6 stuff there. Our opponent just did not have a lot of interaction that game. So we resolved big, scary dragons, and they're undealt with. That is 1-0 heading into game 2. Alright, this is a great hand against Boros. Can we find the Boros matchup this time? Because this is the hand for it. No. This hand is not very good against 5 color. Because it's just a bunch of early interaction. Lost the matchup coin flip on this one. I guess I just play Devotee out. I don't think it really does anything on this board, but I'm just whispering for nothing right now anyway, basically. Okay, Botanist is not bad. See what instance they got here. Fresh start? Okay. So I got a chump blocker for later, I guess. Dragonstorm Globe. They are setting up. speaking of setting up, I do want mana badly enough to probably end up dragon hunting without shooting anything. But for now, I can still just draw a Whisper card instead of a Dragon Hunt card. And that's equivalent. Because Dragon Hunt, if you don't want to shoot anything, you just draw a card. You don't draw and discard, you just straight up draw. So we can do that later, trying to draw the mana to get to 6 on turn 6. It's pretty important. Okay, well now I can kill something and draw towards... Okay, I can't kill something. I need another blue or a red. I can't double spell these two. Shoot. So if I want to hit a land that badly, I have to Dragon Hunt without shooting. Alright. I didn't even hit a land? Yikes. Technique feels expensive for right now. But I could ditch a rebuff and have the recast coming up with a Kishla Skimmer on board if I just cast that here. That can do more digging towards the mana that I so desperately need. Alright, I don't have to discard because I'm not shooting anything for 3. Oh my god, I literally just said the thing. I hate my brain. Oh, I can play the Skimmer. Okay. Okay, well I didn't need to discard there. It might have still been worth it to have a rebuff to play with Skimmer on board. Probably not, though. Probably not. I'll just pretend it was like the 5-head play, the genius line of like, yeah, I need a great, definitely recastable spell engrave to draw the card off Skimmer. I need to discard this for no value. Again, like, there's an argument for it. I don't think that's actually better, though. Roamer's Routine, okay, that's another non-land. I can play it as a land if I cast nothing else this turn. These are just tremendously painful miss land drops. Give me the gosh darn land. Thank you. Natural soul time mana over there. 2 forests, 2 islands, 2 swamps. Scavenger Regent, one-sided board wipe. Tarkir Dragonstorm called. Here's your bomb. Alright, gain your life again. No black swords yet. Evolving Wilds for a Plains for their splash into 4 color. I am like tremendously sad if I play this Azure Scale and they have the counter spell, but they already have the mana up for it off the Dragonstorm Globe. So because they already have the mana up for a counter, I think I'm casting this after they declare an attack. Unless they literally top deck the counter spell, they have it up either way. If it was already in their hand. Dodged it. Oh, let's go. Maximum value Azure Scale. Now, unless they have their own bomb rare along the quality of... Well, that was an exceptional rare to have. An Azure Scale that has a +1/+1 counter and costs 2 less mana than ours. I shouldn't open my mouth, because they did have the bomb rare. Oh god, I don't have the mana to Lash plus Dragon Hunt, because I don't have enough blue and red sources. Ew. Well, that's really bad. Rebuffing the Azure Scale is an absolute nightmare. We can't bounce that thing. So I have to play the Devotee now so that I could Lash plus Dragon Hunt it in the future. Actually, I could Wildling into it. No, I already played my land for turn. God dang it. I could have Wildlinged into it. If I didn't play my land yet. It's a big punt. Okay, we'll just set up to do it soon. Set up to do it next turn. Party life total here. It's not like the Azure Scale does anything once it's already on the board. They can poke me for 6 if they want. Go back to 10. Double block would not be horrible there. Okay, so I got counter mana up potentially. I don't have enough blue to have the Riverwalk technique up to counter their counter, which is brutal if they have one. I guess even if I had blue, I needed a 4th. I only have 3 up. I have to ditch it on land. I have to kill the Azure Scale if possible. Riverwalk technique, actually? That's so awkward. I think it's Riverwalk technique. Alright, it is possible to kill that. Nice. Need my blockers up, so we pass. Sure. Still have a 0/5 blocker on the ground. Super fine with that. Make all their creatures 4/4s for a turn? Sure. I don't want to go to 1 life, I will chump. I don't have double white here, so I can't hold up the Osseous Exhale the turn I play Shrine Keeper, but I'll be at 7 with 3 blockers up. This feels fine. More life gain coming next turn. And right now, sick. Tons of card draw flying around the table here. We just had our Shrine Keeper plus Appraiser, and then they just went Unending Whisper plus Appraiser. Our deck is kind of loaded with omens, so we can prevent ourselves from milling ourselves in the endgame by just looping omens over and over. The problem is, if they still have a bunch of cards left in their deck, they probably just get to draw into enough spells while I'm sitting there doing nothing every turn. To win. Forecaster is kind of scary. Just getting Boulderborn Dragons turn over turn would be nasty here. I think I have to kill the Pummeler, though, over the Forecaster, although I can rebuff it. I could rebuff the Pummeler and shoot the Forecaster. Or the other way around. I guess I can Osseous Exhale the Pummeler later. I can't really Osseous Exhale a Dragonstorm Forecaster. I mean, I guess I could attack with Appraiser and try to exhale it there, is what I was considering, but then I think I'm a little too undefended at like 9 life here. I guess I wasn't taking into account the Regent life gain too. Miller's back. Oh my god, it is an omen. So they get to keep redrawing that board wipe too? I didn't even take that into account. That is incredibly absurd. Oh, and now they have the double blocker. And I've only got the 1 removal. So I can't get the Shrine Keeper card draw going in anymore. Just take it there, sure. I only need 2 mana up. I can routine and still have that up. Last land out of the deck. Last basic, at least. I need to hold this in my hand to pay for the Scavenger Regent's Ward. Okay, that card's really nice. It's a draw land and on land immediately, and then every time they harmonize or renew, they draw another card. Like that Stormbrood. It's that kill on the Pummeler. Okay. They've got a pretty good turn next turn, even if their hand is nothing but lands, and we know there's at least 1 non-land card in there. And that's that they get to use Sagu Pummeler to make one of these 2/2s a 4/4 reach to stop Shrinekeeper, and at the same time draw a card off Oasis of Renewal. Okay, they've got a Dragon Spray for the 4/5. And then just make a 4/4 reach against the 3/3. Yep. Make a 4/3 reach. Okay. I was gonna say at least get the trade with Shrinekeeper. Tawny back. Just straight up mills me one right now. Yeah, that's a pass. All I can do is trade into an Appraiser, and they just have... Oh, it's not removal, it's the tap, sure. Boulderborn Dragon, just naturally drawing them now. Just keep redrawing. The Stormbrood is actually a plan here. I can't kill the Boulderborn Dragon if I just keep killing every other card they play. Cards in my deck? 6. So, Rebuke, Fresh Start, Death Begets Life, and 3 lands. I'm not sure I can win at this point. I need to find the Fresh Start. Or the Rebuke. Yeah, there's still 2 removal in the next 6. If I find one of those to deal with Boulderborn Dragon, we have a plan. Just keep redrawing the tapper every turn. Abzan Devotee doesn't do anything. But Boulderborn Dragon does. They do mill the card. Maybe it will come down to mill, but we both have omens. The omens we've seen from them, though, are all involve drawing a card at this point. Our potential draws are good enough here, I think, to go down to 5 cards in deck. And I really just need to get this Tawny back on the board. There we go. That is the draw I'm looking for. Go down to 4 cards in deck, but put them to 8. Don't tell me they hit the tap a creature, draw a card again. Oh, Fresh Start? That's even worse. I have no idea how this... Never mind, I know exactly how this is going to end. I should have known. They play the bigger bomb. God dang it. You have toughness 10 or greater, draw a card. They do. 20 or greater, untap all their creatures. So the whole board has vigilance in a little bit. Do they have to draw the card? I guess there's still a chance we can mill them out. It's pretty unlikely. Well, they also have to seek the card. That's our only hope, though. Oh my god. What a seek! I would be surprised if that was not the literal best card left in their deck to hit, to go with the Baitor and immediately give them 20 power. Alright. That's Tarkir, baby. We're dead on board. They played the bigger bomb. Yeah, them having the Flesh Crafter to literally just mash the best bomb in my whole deck was brutal. It just made it so their deck had our bomb plus their bomb. So, outclassed in the end. 0-1 heading to game 2. Sorry, 1-1 heading into game 3. Alright, here we are for game 2. Excellent mana thanks to Sagu Wildling. And the strongest card in our deck, our Alchemy rare here, once we get to 6 mana. And there's their own Sagu Wildling, another 4/5 color matchup. Get the botanist down early. They did Sagu Wildling for another green. So maybe they have like the double green dragon rare or something. They have the Nature's Rhythm. 3 mana 2/1 that comes back when it dies. Okay, that's really not bad. Hey, botanist gets immediate value. Can't play a creature this turn anyway. With the Tawny back. Oh, I should have played Unending Whisper though, because I don't actually have Osseous Exhale up. That was a brain fart. Not the ideal curve. Placide Prowler. Okay, that's a problem. Good old 4 mana 5/5. Bunch of good abilities. Gonna get to fuel their grave more because I can't. Well, I mean, I could Osseous Exhale it. Guess I'll leave that as a possibility. They're dedicated Golgari there. They don't block, so we can't exhale, so we have to rebuff now. Yeah, I'm not going to Osseous Exhale the Rune Blade Razor, so we'll just play the tap land there. Prowler's back. Okay, that was a great mill for the Prowler. So now once the Prowler's in grave, it puts like 6 counters on somebody. I guess 5 counters. I thought I just milled you. 2 in a row. Very suspicious, Shuffler. I think I had to play the land first to be able to exhale and still have Tawny back up post-exhale. Because I'd have to tap Bloodfell Caves or the Island or the Forest here, and I need... Like, an untapped Plains isn't going to let me cast Tawny back this turn, so yeah, I had to do that way. I'm not going to reveal my Azure Scale. Although, we know they're not playing blue at this point, so it probably wouldn't come back to bite me. If I did. One big Runeblade Razor has arrived. Just rebuff that and get rid of all its counters. Krumar Initiate. Take one big hit here. Another blue is nice to be able to actually double spell on a future turn. I cannot double spell right now, so I will rebuff using the Botanist to hit harder this turn. Oh, okay, they've got a Piercing Exhale, so much for hitting then. The one plus side of not curving out with this Unending Whisper in the early game is that I've got a free discard for Glacial Dragon Hunt. I don't have to discard anything actually good to get the 3 damage out of it. They're just going to put Pummeler counters on Initiate here. Play a Rot Curse Rakshasa. And get a 2/2. Nope, make it a 4/4. Okay. Can fresh start the Initiate. I have the 2/3 up to block the Razor, and the Rakshasa only attacks once anyway. Not doing anything else with my mana if I'm fresh starting this turn. There's nothing good to lash. Since the Razor just comes right back, I kind of want to lash plus Dragon Hunt. So I'm drawing a bunch of cards with my mana too. Did not hit a blue. I have a plethora of lands here. I don't need Botanist Strong anymore. The Surveil would still be okay, but I think it's better to hold up the block for the Razor. Force a Pummeler move here. Maybe I should have kept one of those Team Ready Goatees. Oh god, no. Synchronized Charge, they can flashback from grave. Synchronized Charge is a brutal amount of damage. That could get us here. Yeah. I mean, it's 3 right now, and then it just tramples the whole board next turn. I think Synchronized Charge does it. We'll see. We gotta play the life gain now. Life gain plus fresh start. Oh. Well, unless they have a second copy, they don't trample now. But I guess the Rakshasa gets to decay our board and shut off our blocks, but the Azure Scale, they can't shut off because it's going to be an instant speed blocker. So I need to go Azure Scale plus fresh start and then gain life later. Host of the Hereafter. I think they're just going to hold on to the Rakshasa because we're dead on board here, so they don't need to decay anybody right now. Still save it for a future turn, which is pretty sketchy. But I can clear them down to just 1 creature left, and then I start gaining life. Okay, so they've got 5 damage to me, 6 damage to me no matter what, because Pummeler as well. And they can shut off all my blockers with the Rakshasa. So we really, really want to draw another one of our bounce spells, ideally. Regent puts me at 6. I need to gain more than that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I don't have the mana to double dragon, though. Oh, Rebuke was such a draw. Wow. Rebuke was such a draw. Good board. That was a good draw. Poke me for 2. Sagu pummeling up that and then shutting off my blockers here. Good Nature's Rhythm, pretty much any creature out of their deck. Anything with 4 mana or less, but they're like an aggressive 2-color deck, so that's probably most of their creatures. Okay, they're gonna shut off the blockers. Play the Inoc. Okay, well I've got the kill for Inoc, obviously. Can still harmonize with these cards, which is sick. Rebuff is a really good draw. It's still pretty good in my grave, and I need to discard something, so I'll discard that. Gain a life, draw a card every turn. Gain another life. This is a 4/3 plus draw card from our opponent. It's really aggressive little 2-mana 3/2. Can hit for 7 in this guy. 7 is not lethal yet. Just play it safe, bounce a creature here, draw a card. I feel kind of bad. But I'm still going to take my win here, if I can. Because their deck is really cool. They built a really good Golgari aggro deck, which you do not see super often. So they've got 1 blocker in the sky. They can take 5 here in the sky. Do I have any draws that find lethal? Riverwalk Technique does, and Twin Moss Stormbrood does. So we have 2 lethal draws we could top deck. So Unending Whisper towards them. Okay, get that out of the way. Draw a card there, draw another card here. There we go. Oh, Stormbrood wouldn't actually work because it's got 6 toughness, but Riverwalk Technique does. There's the concession from our opponent. That was a really, really good Golgari aggro deck there. They had us on the ropes for a long time, but a huge stabilization from great late game rares out of the deck. The Bloomvine Regent, the Bomb rare Draw 2 Dragon, which I can't find. There it is. The Azure Scale was massive there. Super, super close game where we were about to die multiple turns in a row, but flip it around in the late game, just so much card advantage, so much stuff getting slammed onto this board. We find our second victory, and we're 2-1 now, heading into game 4. Here we are for game number 5. Super keepable start here with the turn 2 Botanist. I'm going to play the Thornwood Falls so we can go Botanist or Skimmer turn 2, but I think we just play the Botanist first. Like, I'm not recasting anything from grave yet anyway. Okay, now I wish I played the red so I could blow up this Botanist immediately. I think I'll play it now, towards blowing up the Botanist next turn. But yeah, that lined up poorly. That's a 2-drop you really need to kill before it declares a single attack, because they have a coin flip chance here. If they win the coin flip, they get great value. If they don't, and there's not a land on top, then we still have time to blow it up before they get value. Sure, Milling Dispelling Exhale is fine with me. Cool. Glacierwood Siege, they're going to try to mill us out here. Sure. So Stormbrood the Botanist. Yeah, we Stormbrood the Botanist. If we draw any Omen Dragons that aren't particularly impactful immediately, probably want to keep them for some mill prevention. Sidisi doesn't do anything by herself. Here's a board. I guess they could mill themselves with the Glacierwood Siege. Get some Sidisi action going there. Be kind of cute. Okay, knockout maneuver, sure, kill the Skimmer. They are going to mill me though, so I'll just draw a bunch of cards basically. Cool. There's the fresh start to shut off Sidisi's abilities if I need to. Let's attack in and see if I can draw a land here to double spell for the turn. Nope, didn't draw land, but I also don't want to mill against the siege. Okay. I think mana is important enough to grab one here. I've got double blue, I got double green. I'm going to grab my, my white source. Shrine Keeper in for 5 color. Rebuff the Botanist, mill me for, you got it. 19 cards left. Take 2. Dragonstorm Globes, the draw. Show me the counter spell here. Okay, no counter, but removal maybe, Caustic Exhale. Fresh Start, sure. Fresh Start doesn't mill me, so that's not terrible. And then I have a 3 toughness blocker for the 2 power Sidisi. If they mill all of my Omen Dragons, that's going to be so unlucky. So far, so good for that, though. They've milled a majority of my Omen Dragons. They've milled more than I've drawn. So they're stuck on mana over there. There's a Surok that's very strong. $16 cards left. I can Death Begets Life next turn and draw 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, I won't quite mill out. Especially if I draw an Omen card. So now I draw 5. 7 cards left in the deck, plus Omens. Ditch a Sibsig Appraiser. A little too sketchy with this few cards in deck. Tubble. Okay. Fresh start of that. Do I have any more Omen Dragons left in the deck? Bloomvine Regent? So I just loop Bloomvine Regent to not mill out? Guess that's where we're at. Okay, I waited to see if I could get them to cast a spell before this and lose some extra life. Okay. Hold up the Riverwalk technique and just start beating down with whatever I can. So I need 4 mana up. Okay. I can't Glacial Dragon Hunt, so I can't kill this Storm Brood with the removal spell. I could rebuff it, but then they just recast at instant speed. See if I can Tawny back it. Oh, right, and just block the Tawny back like that. I guess in a major pinch, I could bounce my own Azure Scale to omen that in. I think it's too risky to try to Riverwalk technique the Storm Brood here over holding up the Riverwalk technique. Yeah, I think I have to counter that. Now a rebuff can soak up their Storm Brood mana. RFH, anybody chumping? Oh, chump is so big for me. With multiple rebuffs here. All the non-dragons, okay. They need 2 flyers here. Well, they need to top deck a flyer or a removal spell here. No, it has to be a removal spell. They literally had to top deck removal. If it's a reach creature, a flyer rebuff gets them. Oh boy. I think that's the first time I've ever Omen Loop to stop myself from milling out. That is satisfying on this end of the table, but probably so frustrating over there. Wow. Yeah, part of what makes the mill siege a little weaker in this set. Sometimes your opponent just gets to Omen Loop and still get the kill in the end through all that mill they did. That was wild. All right, we are 3-1 heading into game number 5. All right, here we are on the draw for game number 5. Our mana here is really good, but we have 2 spells in the whole hand, even after the top deck, so obviously some concerns here. But I'm going to keep this one. Playing against green and blue. They've got their own Cunning Azure scale. I'm guessing they were on a 2-lander, so they need to use that to pick up another land. We've seen exactly how strong that card is by playing it ourselves a bunch, so that is going to be a nightmare later. That's for sure. Draw some more removal. Pretty weak hand in the mirror match. Because we don't even have anything to kill with these spells yet. Well, now I can blow up a Strike Master at least. That'll be cute. Get rid of a little bit of their ramp, seems fine. I'm going to play the untapped land in the interest of being able to pay for the counter unless we pay 2. So unless they have that plus a dragon in their hand, we can get through it. Ooh, let's go. Tap out of counter spells. Shrine Keeper resolves, and then it instantly dies next turn, but at least I draw 1 card off of it here. Yep. It really is the mirror match, their own Illuminating Lash. I would never play an Aegis Sculptor, though. This card sucks. Aegis Sculptor haters unite. Down to 20. Okay. Can exile or fresh start the Sculptor. It is going to cost me some ward mana, though, so I can't routine this turn and do that. So we'll just pass, ready to use one of those on the Sculptor. Alright, the Breaching Dragonstorm gamble. Lottery sound effects start playing now. Not a bad hit. Very, very powerful 3-drop is the pickup. Flooding like nobody's business here. Play the untapped land so I can hold Riverwalk technique up. But we just have drawn such an insane amount of mana here. We are dead to just a tiny bit more threats if we don't draw into something here. Full aggro, they go Dragonfire Face just to trigger the flurry stuff. Cool. Under enough pressure at this point, I think, to technique this and fresh start that. I have literally no more basics left now. How many lands left at all? 4 in the entire deck. Yikes. Picking up the Dragonstorm is gross. These are both really nasty threats. The Feral requires mana to hit me for more than 3, though. The Brushmaster naturally hits me for 4, and can also hit for a lot more later. Well, we've hit some spells. Yep, more removal. I've only cast 3 creatures all game, so they get to have the removal left behind really easily. Here's Breaching Dragonstorm. Lottery spins into Wingblade Disciple. Pretty good Dragonstorm hits so far. Skimmer, nothing left in my grave though, because most of my draws have been lands and not graveyard synergy spells. Game 6. Alright, here we are for game number 6. We are 3-2 right now. Our only 2 losses have been 2 stronger rares, as we said during the deck building. Hopefully we can dodge that here in round number 6. It is another 4-5 color mirror match, most likely. They start with a green-red land. Green, red, and blue. I need to play a tap land now to play Roamer's Routine next turn, so I'll play the tap land here. Dragonstorm Globe, yep. Classic stuff. We have white, blue, red, black, and green already. Let's get more blue. I guess I have double green, triple red. I have way more red than I need. Triple blue. Double green. It really doesn't matter. Dragonologist, great. 2 for 1 rare. Digs in the top 6 for an instant source for your dragon. Pretty hard to miss on it. They find Dispelling Exhale. Well, at least it's revealed. A revealed Dispelling Exhale much worse than a non-revealed. Jesus Christ, I've drawn 6 tap lands this game. And 1 untapped land. The other one we got was off the tutor, so I can't Roamer's Routine this turn. Oh wait, no I can with Teamer Devotee, because this has more power than its mana cost. So if I play that, I can routine for 2. Perfect. We're trying to out-ramp their Dispelling Exhale really here, because there's just not much else this hand really does. So we can just set up for once we actually do draw something powerful, making sure we can pay for it through the counter spell. Yes, they're just holding up the counter here. Joke's on them, I don't have anything to cast. We are flooding out 2 games in a row. That'd be a really sad way to end off this draft, because I do think this deck is quite strong and able to compete against other 4-5 color stuff. Alright, they have the Flash Flyer there, which is really good. I've got the Rebuke for it, but I'll need to have 9 mana up to get through their Exhale and actually kill that, so the Stormbrood plus Exhale here is going to be gross. I guess I'm only 2 turns away from having 9 lands on the board. I do need to draw another untapped land, though, to do that. Oh god, I'm going to get Dragonbrood's Relic. Alright, our opponent is having No flood issues over there. They have stopped drawing lands after land 4. Dragon Hunt's a good, well, not like a good draw. Because if I draw land off of this, then it's pretty bad having to discard Rebuke. But it is something I can cast that I know they can't Dispelling Exhale. They do have the Dragon Brood's Relic plus Cliff, so they have the 2 mana up for Dispelling Exhale. I can't Narset's Rebuke this turn. So, come on, some non-land that's good to discard. Jesus. I guess I'm just drawing a card then off this. At that point. I can try again. I can try again, but this time I'm letting them counter it. But then we get the counterspell out of the way for later stuff. I'd rather probably Unending Whisper and let them counter that. Now that we actually get more value by having a land on top, watch us finally find... No, it's still a land! Ooh. What are the odds? Okay. I see how it is, Arena. I accept the bountiful harvest that you have given me this day. Oh, they didn't attack. So it's got hexproof because the Dragonologist. Ew. Well, your turn then. This is crazy, the land disparity going on right now. Man. And now I'm just going to get bombed out while I'm flooded. Anytime they cast any dragon or non-creature spell, they put a gigantic dragon straight onto the board. You got me. I did not draw my Riverwalk technique to counter that at the right time. Oh, Jesus, it has hexproof from the Dragonologist, too? Because it's a kindred enchantment, it's technically a dragon. There's literally no shot now, because they're getting dragons every time they blink. But that is the strongest card in my deck. Oh, I had to play an untapped land to play it this turn in the first place. Holy Lord. Yeah, it doesn't matter. We just drew miserably until we got incredibly bombed out, even if I play perfectly from here. This is already 3 gigantic dragons on board against my 1 that I have to tap 10 mana for because of Dispelling Exhale. Can't make it up. Oh cool, a 1 mana, 5 mana dragon, thanks to the Roost Seek from Wildling. Yeah, no, definitely what got me killed here was the Azure Scale Punt. If I had 10 mana up, I'd be so safe against this. It's insane. 3-3 is the final record today in classic Alchemy fashion. Okay, now our opponent's just being a jerk. They're literally just like, no, this will be fun. I can make it even bigger. Well, if they do that, I guess I could draw my board wipe. Go out on my own terms, mill my whole deck. Come on, board wipe. Nope. Come on, board wipe. Nope. I don't even know what the point of still playing is, but I'll do it. This is our last game of Magic. Yeah, the board wipe's too late now to where if I draw it, I completely mill the whole deck. I guess we just get to watch our opponent pop off. So Pyre kills us. Sure. Have all the fun playing with yourself over there. There it goes. Incredibly unlucky final couple games there. It is what it is. I mean, we saw the amount of lands we drew in the last two games combined was insanity. Much more lands than spells in the final two games. At really pivotal times, because if we could actually curve out faster, maybe actually draw Riverwalk Technique or something, we have a chance against that Mythic Enchantment. Like, as massive as their board got in the end, that entire board was basically only because of that one enchantment. So if we could just have interacted with that, had this at the right time, could have stood a chance there. Yep, I don't know. I think the deck is really strong. I think it could have easily done better than a 3-3, but we had some pretty rough luck on the final two losses. I don't remember the first loss at this point, but there's not too much else to say here. I'm pretty happy with how I drafted. I think the 5-color soup and the Boros aggro are the best decks to play. This was a really good 4 or 5-color soup deck. It's as strong as we could have possibly made it. I could not go back in the draft and open more bombs. That's not something under your control. So starting with Death Baguette's Life, that's a really powerful bomb. You know you're going to have that at the top end. You know you're pretty safe to do something 4 or 5 color. We picked up every other bomb we saw, and it just didn't quite work out for us. Really happy with the amount of fixing I took, the cheap interaction I took. Don't think we could have drafted too much better here. It just did not quite work out in the gameplay. Just an average 3-3 run today. But that is going to end today's video. As always, I'd like to thank my patrons and YouTube members for their support, as well as you for watching the video. If you enjoyed it and you're interested in seeing some more, you can always like, comment, and subscribe to tell the YouTube algorithm to send you some more in your recommended feed. If you'd like to catch me live, you can check out the Twitch channel in the link in the description below. If you'd like to support the channel directly, you can check out the Patreon link in the description below. But other than that, as always, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you again soon for some more Magic Arena.